So welcome to IDC's behind the scenes of video editing. So the first step I use is to open up a project that I used before, which is related to the current video I'm doing. So this time I'm only showing you how do I do my gameplay footage. So this revolves around, arena, ground hero battles, bound hero battle. So going straight into the program right now. So this is like my previous video, which is the bound hero video. Yeah. So as you can see, there's lots of sound effects. Alright, that's the music layer. This is the background picture layer. This is the video layer. This is the overlay layer. This is Azura's booster layer. This is the regular booster layer. And this is the fucking hit marker layer. So what I do is I delete the raw footage that I don't use anymore. Alright, that's all gone. And now I can literally just remove everything I want. So how I format this out is at the very beginning of my video, I always have this little small introduction, just, what's up Battalion, shit like that, just finished arena, no idea there was a BHB, shit like that. And it's the music. So the music hard to find is, I start off with a very smooth, soft, happy music, and then it goes into something more serious, like the video is starting up. So if we listen to it, it goes, this shit, this happy dandy stuff, and through the song you can hear it. So it's good that you give them enough time to read, right? But it's best when you sync it up with the notes. So with that guitar riff right there, I changed notes. Alright. And when the video starts, it starts getting serious, and then the fade-ins and stuff. So I'll show you exactly what I do from start to beginning. So first I'll have to add my raw footage. So I record my arena all in one take. And so now while this is indexing, I have to find myself a new happy song. So a good place to look is indie games Undertale, Shovel Knight, or even RuneScape has some decently happy music. But what I used previously was Hida no Aria's Rico's thing. That was pretty. So now I have to find myself another theme. I got one in mind. So Pikmin. It was yeah. Alright, so we just unlink the audio, take off the video, listen to it. So that sounds like a decent intro, that's 10 seconds into the beat. So easy. So what we need to do, start our introduction. What do I usually say? What's up Battalion and shit this time I'll start it off with so the tech font will be in Impact. I use white text, center it. Use outlines black, even though you can't see it, it's there for alt. Text size will be 17, and what I type here is space 1 or enter 1, so you move down, and I write about, let's say, anything. So say welcome back. My E key's a little fucked. Double taps. So that's welcome back, that doesn't need to be 3 seconds, but it's the start of a video. So it needs to be a little bit shorter, so 0.5. Decimal's a little broken, yeah. Alright, and now, so we got the rough estimate of how long we want it. We can now sync it to the time with music. So I don't mind having it at 3 seconds now, but I want to sync it to the song, so welcome back. Let's go with here at it, and And now, like, because the start was already started, you know, a video footage will usually cut it in a little, so it'll be like just like that. It'll start off from just about like 1 second in, and you know that extra space is enough for you to welcome back. Anything after that you can shorten up. So here at it again, we could be minute, 1 second, 1 second and a half, 1.5 seconds. Sorry. Here at it again. Another bizarre adventure. But that barely fit in. That's fine. So I'm allowing a bit more beats to go in. I want this a little bit more readable. And then I'll drop into the sequence. That extra E is really in new. But yeah. The bass is here, and that's where I want to jump it off. Alright, so that's cut it short. We don't have to, but you know, for simplistic sake. We get our raw file, chuck it in. So the reason I do sound effects is the recorder I use is called AZ Recorder on Android. Not sponsored, by the way. They can't record sound, but they record in very high bit rate in 60 frames per second, and that's what I reckon is beautiful. Alright, if I had another method of recording, I'll do it. I would rather record with sound, so I have, you know, not just visual cues I can use, you know, sound cues instead. Like, that's fine. I'll start it off like this because I don't have any. So we'll go that, do the happy music, go into like a big fade. This is where the fade hits. Drag it in, and it's perfectly synced just by luck. So if we listen to it. Alright, that's perfect. We can fade it out 1 second, 2 seconds. And now this is where you can add music. Alright, so now I'll be adding Payday songs. So the reason why I like Payday, because they're long, they're not boring, and it starts up pretty quickly. So my favorite track would be Death Row, and the reason why I like Death Row because the way it starts into the song fairly quickly. We listen to it. Now, boom, 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 boom. See? So if I can link that with like the booster, it'll look like hella hectic. So drag it in. Still the wrong track. This one, Death Row. See. So we're just off by a bit, but we still have a little bit more to work with. So we get rid of that little bit of space in no sound. So the booster happens just here. If we can manipulate it just that, fade it in so it doesn't seem like it's abrupt. Full stop. And it's fucking epic. So I'll do that. So my visual cue for using booster is looking for. So the visual cue I use for booster is to add it when you see this big spark of yellow. See, like this is just a frame before, there's nothing frame in, and that's where the big yellow boost comes in. So I've cut my booster properly where it's just perfectly just synced as soon as it hits that big yellow circle. Yep. So we listen to it. Let's have a watch. It could go in a little bit more quick earlier. So need that little gap. And we can extend the video a little bit, the song further apart, so it sounds more epic. 1, fade in. Yep. Hey, you like that? And like my playstyle of Reno is really sped up, so I like these fast tempo songs. So immediately here, so what I do is I got a sequence just for my Azura, so it's just this.
Didn't even break a sweat.
So my visual cue is getting these 4 pieces together, or you know, there's more. It's just three main parts. So it's the boost, 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 the dance sound, and Azura's line. So I copy that, head on over, I go onto this line, paste it down. Now I look at the visual cue where Azura comes in. So just slowly. So it's just about here. And the next frame is I'm waiting is when I can see her foot. So if I can see it just, yeah, so I want to see just about like this. It had about there. And I drag the very first part of that audio cue right there and
didn't even break a sweat.
Yep, and that's that. So what I usually do, I separate my boostos with my music, so that way it will be easier to fit it in. So what I do, I'll drag this down. So it will be in the next visual. It all. Drag it down. Sure that's at the right visual cue. Yep. Okay. Maybe a little bit more. There.
Didn't even break a sweat.
Alright. And if I wanted to change the sound of what Azura says, I got my player sounds files. And these are everything what Azura says. She says drown.
How well can you swim? Hold your breath. Quake before. Riptide. Surge forward. There's no running from a flood.
So what I usually do is play whatever audio cue that is most suitable to the situation. So I look ahead, I see that Azura, or this is basically Sergeant defending against Cecilia. So what I should do is, let's see.
The tide turns.
So I'm basically turning the tide, so I think that'll fit best. So I put it in right next to it.
The tide turns.
That's perfect. End the turn. They get a booster, but I don't usually make sound effects for the enemies because, like, I think the focus of my videos should be my team only, and like I don't want people being distracted. So Cecilia is a caster, and what I use with caster sounds are I go into my enemy sound files, and because she's a caster, she casts magic. So I have this RuneScape, you know, fucking, if you ever played RuneScape, ever got sent into the rune mines, where you mine, I forgot what it's called, but when you mine rune essence, it's this fucking teleporting new sound. And it's cut out, so the whole sound effect is, copy that, change it, so there's the whole sound effect. Oh yeah, if you ever played RuneScape, that's probably fairly nostalgic. So I cut it in, put it in there. So my visual cue is when Cecilia just starts with her magic. So put it in there. And now, since she uses birds, like the raven tones, I have a sound effect just for that as well. So the sound effect is called enemy birds. Sound like bats. Enemies. Oh, they come in as soon as I see them. Just about. Maybe just about here. Yeah. And because they did no damage to Tharja whatsoever, there's something I do that's called no damage. These are all the squishy sounds. And what I like to do is with birds, especially if they're doing like jack shit or damage, like to have it. What I probably want is just this sound. Yeah, that whole thing I just need. So drag that down. Start with 1, start with 2. Maybe even have like a few more layers with it. So maybe I don't need that ending sound, so I can just do just this solid piece and then end it with proper sound. So like that, duplicate it, end it. Maybe have 2 endings. Alright, so Tharja is a special case where I only do it when her circle lights up. Going into the player sounds. Go to Tharja attack. Line it up. And now when I see this blue, I go into my video files. I got a hit mark on the right side. Alright, now Cecilia died. I have to let her have the death sound animation. Going back into the enemy sound. She's the one that died. Female. And now Tharja takes fury damage. So what I do with this, I have the audio cue where the HP shows up. Alright. I have a small hit marker that is just made just for the body. Alright. You just go to the effects and go to the spot where it is. Yep, that looks good. There'll be a dance, you know, all that, I don't care. And then the next one is the booster again. Booster. That's the switchy. Alright, so I basically got you the idea of what I do. So that's the visual cue there for the switch. Everything's all about the same. It's just tedious, you know, just putting sound effects in and in. Alright, so now what I do next is I show you my my layout. So I use this layout. This is probably not my current one, so that's pretty sad. I think for my Grand Hero battle I didn't update it. So I'm adding my latest one which I made earlier. Overlays 3, so this is the one I use. Luna, you know, everything, that's all fucking there. I think I used the wrong one for my other video for the battle. I thought I changed it, I probably didn't, because opening the file didn't change anything. So what I do with the overlay, I go back to the time when this was cut out, so it was immediately there's a line there. Line it up like that. Alright, that's the overlay. I'll put it right next to I'll move the track down, so this is technically the second track now. Fade in goes into 2 seconds. Drag it out as long as I want.
The tide turns.
Alright, so now that's the overlay. Now we gotta have the background. The background I use is edited myself. I looked at the fight, you know, I'll see what type of background there is. They never bring out like these ruined ones for me I can use. I have to use the ones that's closest to it. The closest to it is this one. So put it in a new layer. Alright, drag it down. I keep calling it layers because I'm so used to using Photoshop. It's supposedly meant to be called tracks, but fine. I fade this in at the same time. now that's done. Now I just need to show you the booster. So what I have for my boostos, so reusable overlays, I got several of these, right? So what I call this formation is the default square. So the square, there it is. Put it into a new overlay. I line it up with the booster. That. And now. Keep playing. Alright, so the next booster is here, right? And you'll think you'll drag it all the way to the next booster, but technically the buff ends here. Just like that. It ends right here. So the way I measured it out, I use this this sound. It's empty. It's the hit marker sound, but it's not playing any sound. It's muted. I put it right here, line it up next to the booster, and it is pretty much perfectly. It's not like, you know, it's just about right. It's like a simple way. It's about milliseconds off, and you can't really tell. No one's ever gonna be able to like spam the space button to be able to see it. But that's when I can turn it off, and then that's when the next boost. So going back to the Azura buff.
The tide turns.
So the tricky part about this, if you know how Photoshop works, the picture on top is overlapping on the picture below. So what I do is, because I have these buttons on top, the bottom ones, the ones below it can't be shown. And how the Azura one works is all 4 buttons are there. You only can see Hector's because I cropped it. So, you know, I can move it here, move it there. See, these are actually cropped in, so that's actually everywhere. So if you saw my first battle, my, you know, bound hero battle, what I forgot about was I had these cropped out, and the one with Tharja was on Hector, because Hector's on default, as you guys saw. So what I do, I don't really change it in here. I drag it out. Alright. It's in sync with the second one. First one I don't do anything. And it goes in and out. And that's on Hector. So let's just move this to Tharja, which is down. Copy that, paste it, move it, drag it out. And this goes in line with the, I'm gonna have to like, yeah. Up. Yep. That way I don't hit into the, drag that and place it in. See? But now it's all in line, so give you guys a little snippet of it.
The tide turns.
What I might do for that dance for Olivia is the fucking Shimada one. Just default. So this is just, you know, 1 minute out of fucking 20 minutes I do editing. Who knows how long that took me, but just do that times 20. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.
And it's over.